guys, what is up? It is your boy Blaze here, coming at you once again from Need Input. So check it out, everybody. The Fruit of the Loom Mandela Effect. A big Mandela Effect that has bothered millions of people around the world. I always remember the Fruit of the Loom logo having a cornucopia in it. But as you all know, it has never existed. They never had that cornucopia in their logo, ever. Now, this is an older Mandela Effect, and I did cover this Mandela Effect on my old Need Input channel, but as you know, YouTube deleted that channel, removing all my videos, and I lost all the residue for it. So I thought I'd cover it once again to show the residue I showed back then, a little bit of new residue, and it seems that a lot of people are starting to talk about this Mandela Effect again, and they seem to forget that years ago, I found a big piece of key residue that proves that this is not just misremembering. Fruit of the Loom themselves remembers having a cornucopia in their logo. Without further ado, let's jump into it, shall we? The origin of Fruit of the Loom dates back to 1851 in Rhode Island, when textile mill owner Robert Knight and his brother Benjamin established the B&B&R Knight Corporation. After they acquired the Pontiac Mill in Warwick, Rhode Island in 1856, the company changed its name to Fruit of the Loom while producing its first muslins. To this very day, Fruit of the Loom has been creating and selling high-quality underpants, socks, and other clothing. The problem is, many people remember their logo always having a cornucopia in it, but it never once has. And no, they didn't just rebrand or change the logo. Fruit of the Loom has never, ever once had a cornucopia in their logo. This has literally been one of the biggest, most popular, talked about, and well-known Mandela effects around. Ask anyone that grew up in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and even the early 90s to describe the Fruit of the Loom logo, and chances are they'll mention a basket of fruit, horn of plenty, and cornucopia. So why do so many people remember this? Well, some claim it is just misremembering, or we are just confused by other brands using a cornucopia in their logo. But today, I'm going to prove to you that that's not the case. The logo did in fact have a cornucopia in it, but it was erased from our history by the Mandela Effect. In this newspaper clip from 1974, the article states a teacher drew a horn of plenty on a blackboard in the classroom and asked the class if anyone knew the correct name for it. A student raised his hand and said, "It's Fruit of the Loom." This article from Nest.com is talking about models for Fruit of the Loom. They mentioned the cornucopia is the company's recognizable symbol. Why would they even mention that if Fruit of the Loom never once had a cornucopia in their logo? Then there is this article from Walsh College. It's talking about how logos make a company. They mentioned the cornucopia of Fruit of the Loom. Why would they even mention that? It's never existed. In this newspaper article from the early 90s, Signal Communication Systems President Dan Aubrey is being interviewed for selling popular underwear brands alongside of cell phones and pagers. Yeah, I know it sounds a little corny to be adding underwear with pagers and phones, but hey, it was the early 90s and I guess he was trying to get some good sales. He mentions in the article the Fruit of the Loom logo and their cornucopia. In the movie The Ant Bully that came out back in 2006, they did a parody of Fruit of the Loom underwear and called it Fruit of the Loom. Behind the fruits, they added a cornucopia. Obviously, they remember the logo having a cornucopia in it, which is why they added it to their parody, to make it seem funny. But because the Mandela Effect erased the cornucopia from the Fruit of the Loom's logo, this joke isn't funny, nor does it make any sense. In an episode of South Park that aired back in 2012, Season 16, Episode 6 called I Should Have Never Gone Ziplining, they show Eric Cartman's underwear, which they called Cornucopia Brand, and it has a cornucopia with grapes and a banana in front of it. Obviously, they were doing a parody of the Fruit of the Loom's logo, But why would they add a cornucopia unless they also remember Fruit of the Loom always having a cornucopia in their logo?
Now rapidly converting to a thick paste. The diarrhea shoots out of Eric's anus and into his underwear. Eric Hartman is a ticking time bomb.
Dude, did you just shit your pants? No.
Frank West was an American jazz saxophonist and flutist. In 1973, he released an album called Flute of the Loom and had an artist by the name of Ellis Chappell design the album's artwork for him. As you can see, the album's artwork is quite interesting. It features a flute in the shape of a cornucopia with vegetables in front of it. Ellis got the inspiration from his artwork from the Fruit of the Loom logo. But how could that even be possible if the logo never had a cornucopia in it? Well, a couple of years ago, a Reddit user by the user ID Juggling Knives actually reached out to Ellis Chappell and his son. Here's what they had to say. I think I had a t-shirt with the Fruit of the Loom label that I looked at for the reference. I used to have, in fact I still have, a lot of them. File folders with images such as a folder for musical instrument or a folder for trucks or automobiles. But this piece was primarily made up from my imagination, other than looking at the Fruit of the Loom label. Why the hell else would I have used a cornucopia? I looked at the Fruit of the Loom label I had for reference, and I based the shape of the horn on the label I had. It's a take off the label, so it has to resemble the label substantially, otherwise it would make no sense. Hi, this is Reed, Ellis's son, responding for my dad here. I remember the cornucopia specifically, as does my dad. This is the second time we've been contacted about this album cover, and Ellis and I are more than happy to answer any questions you have about it. I was a little kid when Ellis painted the Flute of the Loom cover, and I remember specifically this album being a reference to the cornucopia in Fruit of the Loom's original logo, which is where my dad says he specifically got the inspiration for the design. When I talked to him about it, he said, "Why the hell else would I have used a cornucopia?" It's quite interesting that Ellis definitely remembers a cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom logo, and that's where he got the idea and inspiration from for painting the artwork on the album. And he used the Fruit of the Loom logo as a reference. Also, his son, who was young at the time, remembers it as well. So okay, many remember a cornucopia in the logo. Why not contact Fruit of the Loom and ask them about it? Well, some have. Years ago, a lady named Emma contacted Fruit of the Loom through a chat. Here's what was said. Is it true that the logo never had a cornucopia? Hi Emma. Yes, it is true. The cornucopia never existed. Even some of us are still convinced it was a thing though. Thanks for the response. Please feel free to reach out with any future inquiries. I find it highly interesting that the employee mentioned it never existed, but did state that some of them are convinced it was a thing. That means that some of the employees working for Fruit of the Loom actually do remember the cornucopia being in the logo. And do you remember the old Fruit of the Loom commercials with the fruit guys? They were very popular.
What a fabulous vacation!
That was a year ago.
Hey, there's the Fruit of the Loom guys.
I bought you this Fruit of the Loom underwear on that trip.
How are we holding up?
Terrific!
Our super seams keep us strong, and our super band waistband keeps snapping back.
Wash after wash.
You fellas really last.
Next vacation, the Big Apple.
Men's white cotton briefs, only $2.10 each. Also available in fashion colors.
Think of us first.
To last.
Fruit of the Loom knows your boys are rougher, tougher than ever. Destruction on wheels to a pair of briefs. That's why Fruit of the Loom introduces the Unbustables, our best-built boys' briefs ever.
With our heaviest pre-shrunk cotton fabric.
Our strongest waistband ever. All at a great low price.
So give your tough guys our best-built boys' briefs ever. The Unbustables, new from the unbeatable Fruit of the Loom. Now, save up to $4 on future purchases of Fruit of the Loom. Details at stores.
Well, Samuel E. Wright, who played the Purple Grapes, made anywhere from 120 to 140 commercials with Fruit of the Loom. He had an interview with Billy Cox of the Florida Today newspaper back in 1994, and in that interview mentions Fruit of the Loom's logo was initially a cornucopia, swollen with an apple, green grapes, purple grapes, and there were green leaves. It seems even this famous actor who also did the voice of Sebastian in Disney's Little Mermaid movie and voiced Mufasa in The Lion King remembers a cornucopia in Fruit of the Loom's logo. Sadly, he passed away on May 24, 2021 at the age of 74 from cancer. But some of the best evidence that Fruit of the Loom did in fact have a cornucopia in their logo is from this 1973 trademark I found years ago when I made my original video covering this, filed by Fruit of the Loom themselves for their logo. It states, basket of fruit, containers of fruit, cornucopia, horn of plenty. Why would they file this with the United States Patent and Trademark Office and list such things if that's not what their logo displays? The simple answer is, it did at that time display a cornucopia. The Mandela Effect erased it from history, and as always, left behind a little bit of residue that we can find that proves we are not just misremembering. So there you have you guys, the Fruit of the Loom Mandela Effect. Does this Mandela Effect really get to you? If so, let me know in that comment section down below. I find it quite interesting that back in 1973, Fruit of the Loom Inc. themselves filed for that trademark for their logo. And right down below, it says container of fruits, including cornucopia, horn of plenty. Why would they state that as part of their logo when it's not there? How can anybody deny that the Mandela Effect is just misremembering when we can find residue like this? Until next time, it's your boy Blaze here for Need Input saying remember, be kind, rewind your mind. Peace out everybody, and God bless. Hey you guys, did you like the Fruit of the Loom Mandela Effect t-shirt I was wearing in this video? Well guess what, you're in luck. I'm having a special over at the Need Input's Memory Lane shop. The Fruit of the Loom Mandela Effect Classic tee is now on sale for only $21.99. Want something a little better quality and more comfortable? Then order the Comfort tee, just $23.99. Is it a little cold in the area where you're living right now? Then how about this classic pullover hoodie, yours for only $42.99. Prefer not to have a t-shirt or a hoodie, but do want something with a cornucopia? Well, how about this beautiful Fruit of the Loom Mandela Effect mug to drink your coffee or hot tea? Yours today for only $12.99. This offer will only last until March 31st, so hurry up and get your order in.